this. I'm selecting crosswalks on YouTube now.
Oh, you're not a robot.
Make sure I'm not a robot.
I am not a robot. I'm confident.
Okay, we are live. I'm Troy Parkins. And
I'm Janna Colasso. Janna Colasso, your happy hypnotherapist or something to that effect.
You're happy, you're friendly. You're all of the above, right?
I am. Yeah, rumor has it. So hi and welcome.
Good to see you. How has your weekend been?
My weekend is a little rocky. I just got off the sailboat. So it feels like I'm still going nee, 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 nee,
I did notice you're in a circle. You're going in a circle.
Yeah. Yeah, I still feel like, so if, I don't know if I'm literally moving. I don't think so. I don't know what that is that goes on for your inner ear. For me, it lasts a really long time after I get off a boat.
Oh.
But it doesn't bother me. It's kind of fun. It's like being at Disneyland all the time.
And did you hear Disneyland is opening on April 1st?
I heard they were opening. I hadn't heard the date. So that's so cool. Yes.
So Disney's opening. It was getting warm outside. Spring is coming. These are happening.
Yes, close to daylight savings. I can't wait. I want it to be lighter out more of the time.
Yes.
Yay.
Daylight savings is next week and next Saturday, Sunday, the crossover. So we, in theory, and I used to always say this, we're going to be on at 4 o'clock, not 5 o'clock. But we would have been on 4 o'clock standard time, but it's really 5 o'clock. I don't know. That makes no sense.
Do you know how many times I make mistakes with clients on the East Coast where I'll go, okay, I'll talk to you at 3:30 your time, and I'll put it in backwards in my calendar. If you start to talk about the clock to me, it just, yeah.
Perhaps we ought to change the context of time.
Perhaps.
Where is Doc Emmett Brown, when you need him?
He's Back to the Future.
He is. I love that movie.
I do too.
Okay, let's see. Thank you all for joining us today. And I want to talk about, we touched on it, spring cleaning. I want to talk about spring cleaning. So
let's make sure we don't talk about my house because it's not that clean, but we could definitely talk about spring cleaning the mind.
Yes. Well, very similar, as people say.
It's smaller square footage.
Yes. Square, yes. Cluttered house, cluttered mind, cluttered office, cluttered mind. Okay. We get it. How do we unclutter our mind?
Oh, it's easier. It's easier than one might think. Seriously. I was having a thought. I have many thoughts as you speak, but one of the thoughts I was having too is, when I get overwhelmed about my housework, uncluttering my mind, suddenly the housework is not hard and it gets done quicker and easier, like exponentially so. So starting to spring clean the mind, getting rid of what I like to call, if you think about all the dust bunnies or the stale fish and broccoli smell, like how you have to open a window, we can open the windows of the mind and we can let just the icky stuff breeze out, and we can, plant some beautiful fresh flowers and clean stuff. And then we want to close the door and make sure that we interact only with that positive stuff.
So flowers and nice smelling things in, rotten broccoli, and what was the other thing you said? Out.
Fish and broccoli
out.
Yes.
Okay. So how do we open up that mind to get the flowers in there and truly, or okay, how do we open the mind to do two things? One, get the flowers in there, but also to get all those limiting thoughts and beliefs. As I like to say, Smoky the Bear says, rake your forest. So have you raked your forest in your mind? How do you do that?
Well, the very first thing is to start to play a game with me. And the game with me is called Let's Pretend That the icky feelings, whether it's an overwhelmed feeling or a nervous, anxious, worried feeling, kind of a stressed out feeling, maybe a sad, depressed feeling, lonely. So I'm talking, these are all the negative things we want to get out. The game we're going to play is let's pretend it's like a cloud of noxious fumes, like a broccoli smell or bad fish that you cooked in the broiler instead of on the barbecue, and now you've got to deal with the smell of it. So what we want to take care of is how, what is in our, look, we can imagine that when we interact in certain situations in our lives, what goes on inside of us, it might be a lot of in our brains in terms of our thoughts, or in our bodies in terms of our feelings. But what goes on inside of us is like a cloud of noxious, stinky fumes. Now this is the game. I doubt that if a scientist opened you up and looked inside, they would go, oh, there's stinky fumes. No, but it feels like that, right? So we want to mentally open that out and imagine that it breezes through. Now, this is easy to do in hypnosis.
Okay.
But there's rules. There's rules.
Okay.
So, well, in hypnosis, it's easier because we're in a deep theta brainwave state, which I've talked about before, which is like a deep state of relaxation that you're in as you're falling asleep or waking up. But you're very consciously aware. And when you're in that state, your mind isn't revving into all the yabbits and what ifs of all your situations. It's not about your to-do list or how to keep a bad thing from occurring. Okay. So your brain isn't on that. Your brain is calm. It's focused. It can think, but it's not going to go berserk with overthinking it. And we can pretend, because a lot of hypnosis uses therapeutic imagery the way I do it. And so we can pretend that this ugly feeling that we experience, whatever it happens to be, is like that cloud of energy. And there are a million ways. I use a lot of archetypal imagery, which is like the elements. So let's take a breeze, for example. We could imagine that we become almost porous. Okay, that because honestly, on a microscopic level, if we magnified a cell, we would see molecules, and then we would see atoms. And if we look between the atoms, there's space. So we can say that we're an open, porous thing, and we can help a beautiful, loving, gentle breeze could go all in, around, and through and air that out, just like we would spring clean it out in the kitchen if it was a bad cooking smell. Then we can decide that we're not going to interact any longer with that energy field. That worrying, let's pretend it's worrying. We could pick anything, but let's pretend worrying. That nervous worry isn't helpful. I think we can all agree that worrying serves no purpose whatsoever. We can be effective in our lives without worrying. Eckhart Tolle talks about this when he says, you don't have to be afraid of getting burned when you approach a hot stove. Now think about that for a second. You have to have common sense, because you're smart enough to know if I touch a hot burner, I'm going to get burned. But you don't have to have an emotional reaction of fear every time you walk past the stove in the kitchen when it's turned on. That emotion isn't serving any purpose. The only thing that serves a purpose is the common sense. So when we're spring cleaning the mind, we're saving the common sense. That's like the flowers, that's like the beautiful, fresh stuff that's clear and clean and clutter-free. It's easy and effortless. That kind of common sense we retain. But we don't need to interact with the energy field of fear or upset. We want to let that pass through. We also want to notice that we may potentially have been addicted to it without meaning to be addicted to it. It might have been something, that worry, that we inherited from a parent, or so just through exposure, we saw that that's a good survival strategy, is to worry all the time. Okay.
So in other words, we're getting used to that smell of rotten fish and broccoli.
Yeah, because we think it symbolizes our to-do list. Like, well, we better worry about this, otherwise we might forget and just go out sailing all day and not get anything done. But you can keep the reminder to make sure you get something done. You don't need to be afraid of something to make yourself do it. There's a lot of other strategies to get yourself motivated. And we want those good, fun, inspired, excited strategies to stick. But we want all the icky, heavy, ugly thing. I mean, people will literally sage their houses, and I have nothing against that. But I stopped saging my house, even though I love the smell. And sometimes if I have literal bad smell in my house, I might do that. But even if you're of a spiritual mindset and you're believing that there are energy fields, which I do believe that there are energy fields, but it doesn't matter if you believe that or not. In hypnosis, it works either way. You just pretend there's a bad smell thing, noxious fume. But a spiritual type might think, I got to sage my house to get rid of that. Well, if you deal with your mind and you don't interact with it, it's not going to stick around very long. It's not going to live in the corner of your bedroom.
So that's a temporary fix. What I'm hearing is saging or Palo Santoing your house is a temporary fix, because this is the permanent fix is up here in the
It's
mind.
whether you interact with that energy field. And if you walk into your house and you're sensitive and you're like, oh God, I got a Palo Santo, and I have Palo Santo too, but now I burn it because it smells so darn good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't burn it because I'm afraid of the energy field in my house. When I'm clear in my mind and I'm not going to interact with that, it can be there or not be there. I don't need to worry about it. And eventually it's just gonna go away. It happened to me this morning. I woke up and I was in the grips of some awful, upsetting, very familiar feeling, set of emotions. And I was like, yep, nope, not going there. Boom. Now in hypnosis, I do that for a client, like, okay, that can be there, but the moment you notice it, not going to go there. It's very empowering, because in the past, I would have been like, oh shit, something must be really wrong. I better start thinking about it. I better try to why am I in this bad mood? I better start to fight my way out. That's not the way out. That's feeding it with your energy.
Yeah. So you're actually magnifying it than actually getting rid of it.
Yeah. You take it seriously. Guess what? You fed it. You burn sage and Palo Santo to get rid of it. You better do that just because you love the smell of sage and Palo Santo, because if it doesn't have you to fear it,
it doesn't
can't exist.
Well said. I like that.
And hypnosis makes that become habitualized. Nope, I'm not going to go there. And instead, I am going to decide, because it's a choice, that I only play in fun energy fields. So even if I woke up and my house stinks of, what did my friend Alfredo call it? A miasm, miasmic cloud of disgusting. I bet if someone sensitive was there, they'd see sick and scary dead people all over the place. But
like
if I, even in the midst of that, which I don't think I have in my house, but even if I did, if I decide to only play in the energy field I choose to play in, regardless of all the choices that are around me to choose from, instantaneously, and I mean instantaneously, that positive is there. It's like turning on a light switch. So like I've got this lamp, right? And if it's dark over here, I don't need to go take a hatchet and fight against the darkness. I just turn on the light. And the moment I turn on that light, there's no darkness to even fight with. All I have to do is turn on the light. I don't have to get rid of the darkness first to make room for the light. I just turn on the light. It's way easier.
That's a good tip.
Yeah.
Way easier. Well, we're all about tips and tricks and tools. So what could we leave our viewers with tool-wise? Now, I know you're a master at this. You create very powerful visualizations.
I do.
Is it possible for somebody out there, as they're cleaning their forest, they're spring cleaning, they're keeping the good stuff, and they're getting rid of what doesn't serve them in their life? What would you say, like a tool for them to use visualization for them to go on this journey?
The best way to do this is to have a regular presence practice. So that means maybe the way people can, some like to meditate, although I wouldn't say that meditation is for everyone. I prefer to walk and practice letting go of my thoughts and interacting with nature. Nature is always a positive energy field. And when you're present enough, nature will help you by way of demonstrating, and there's a loving kindness in it that will help you. And when you're present, there can't, that's a way to raise your own empowerment. Okay, you're more able to call the shots for which energy field you're picking. So regular presence, because what happens is normal, natural, everyday life continues. It's like we're living in a movie, and so will the situations and the other people in our lives will start to seem like they're in control, like we really can't be at peace until something happens over there, or that situation over there changes. And if we spend too much time being hypnotized by that, because it's a type of hypnosis too, especially watching TV or the news is very hypnotic, just like watching a movie is. These are all types of environmental hypnosis. We're hypnotized by the energy field that is being focused upon, that isn't necessarily the same energy field as your reality. If you left your home in this very moment and took a walk up the hill and started to enjoy the flowers in your neighbor's yards and interact with a bird or a squirrel, that energy field is a very different energy field than the one in the TV.
That's a very, very good point. That's why people say when you go to sleep, disconnect from electronics, just in general.
And but that 30 minutes before sleep, it's got to be a comedy or something positive, right? You can set an intention as you're going to sleep. if you've got a lot on your mind as you're sleeping, that's a great time for a presence practice, because for me, I always have the softest sheets. I have the warmest, most loving dog. And I can listen to the sounds of the house. I can listen to the breathing of the dog. I can feel his body warmth. I can feel the texture of the sheets. And that's my presence practice. And that energy field is completely cocooned in warmth and relaxation. The only thing that is not relaxing is what's going on, perhaps sometimes between my ears. So I pull out of that. But at this point, I've practiced it enough to know those are energy fields I'm playing with. And just because an energy field exists doesn't mean I have to interact with it. And the number one most important thing I can do when it's time to go to bed is to sleep. It's healthy mind, it's for healthy body. Sleep feels wonderful. So just because there's always thoughts that I could be thinking, there's plenty of things to worry about. If I decided to worry, or if I somehow subconsciously believed that worry was necessary to make sure I'm a good person, because only a bad person wouldn't worry about this or that or the other thing.
That's
you know, if you love that person, you better worry about them. Or if you care about the world, you better worry about this world situation. Or so there's ego involved in worry. It's only the ego worries, you know. So it's a matter of knowing you can unplug, become present. And the other flip side of that is you won't be awake very long. You won't get to enjoy the sound of your dog's breathing or the warmth of his little body or the cozy sheets for very long, because you're going to fall asleep.
You're going to be out.
Yeah.
So the tip is to be present, and people can find that in different ways. They could, in theory, count sheep if that gets them present, I guess. Yeah. Or, as you said, go into nature and take a walk.
Go into nature and take a walk. Mm-hmm. Presence practice becomes, this is an acquired skill. It's not something that you're meant to be good at the first 8,572 times you try it. It's the 8,573rd time that all of a sudden it becomes the dominant way of being. Now, it can go faster in hypnosis. I can hypnotize you to be present more of the time, and it speeds up the process. That's why hypnosis is the biggest awakening cheat on the planet. But you have to be willing to do it. You have to be willing to entertain the possibility that I might not really need to worry about anything at all.
I love that, by the way. Awakening cheat. I love that. So we're in essence hacking into this whole idea of presence. Mm-hmm. So we're coming at it from a place of cleaning, spring cleaning. And a great way to do that, to get rid of those negative gunk, broccoli, fish smell that you don't want.
Broccoli and fish are getting a bad name. I should have used something else. But I love broccoli, but boy, you got to open the windows when you're done cooking that.
I would say that, that is something with our viewers out there. They may say, hey, wait a second. I love the smell of broccoli and fish. I was speaking to a woman who basically said to me, I love the smell of garlic on people's breaths. And I said, awesome, because I love garlic, and hey, it's all good. I guess it's that. So, okay, out there, replace broccoli and fish with whatever you don't
whatever
like.
Smell you don't like. or whatever mood you don't like.
And, steak. Okay. So whatever that is, the tip I'm seeing is presence. Hypnosis could definitely work on presence and practice. I'm hearing that practice, 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 because this is just not something you boop, go like that. So in summation, are people out there are going to be cleaning their spring cleaning and cleaning out their mind. What's the final word you have to say to them on this sometimes scary endeavor?
There is no mood that cannot be spring cleaned out. So like a couple of my close friends right now are experiencing jealousy. Ew, like anyone who's ever been jealous, is there a worse freaking feeling? I think not. But if we think of jealousy as a big cloud of blah, it can be spring cleaned out. If we think that the only way to get rid of it is to prove that that person needs to change their behavior or whatever, or I need to be reassured somehow, this is where the world is shifting. That's the old way we looked at things. The new way is we take care of what goes on for us as a result of what we see and experience. We start to appreciate those ones that trigger this bad feeling so that we can transcend the bad feeling. Transcending our own bad feeling about it is much more empowering than trying to scurry around and handle all of these people, because they're all crazier than loons. Have you noticed?
Always.
They're out of their fucking minds.
Everybody.
Yeah. Even the ones we love the most, bless their hearts.
Totally. Crazy.
But, yeah, to try to get any peace of mind based on them, you're in for a kind of a long ass way to hate to be a buzzkill. So the one thing that you can do is to decide, I am going to have a good day. Today's going to be a good day. I'm committed to having a good day. I wake up in the morning, maybe it feels like an elephant just landed on my chest because the habitual worrying gunk is there. But it's like, oh, hell no, I'm opening that mental window and letting that shit breeze out because I am going to have a good day.
That is.
I'm going to have a good day no matter what.
Yeah.
I'm going to have a good day whether I have money, no money. I'm going to have a good day whether that asshole loves me or not. I'm going to have a good day whether my kids are what this way or that way. I'm going
cut off in traffic, or you get
good day.
Or you get mugged. You're going to have a good day no matter what.
Maybe the mugger's cute. We don't know. It's like,
hey,
maybe the
police
police
officer money more than
your
you.
statement is like going to be the love of your life. Maybe there will be cute firemen that come. It's like, stop complaining. Just get committed to. We choose our own energy field. And if I'm going to be in a positive energy field, I'm going to be in a positive energy field no matter what. And oh boy, there's some relief there. Can you hear that? That there's some control in that. So the spring cleaning thing, wow. Start with the mental. And then when you're not so heavy, the house gets clean. It like cleans itself almost because you're not trying to avoid by watching too much TV or eating everything out of the refrigerator, trying to get rid of this depression so that then I can have enough energy to go out and deal with the kids' room or whatever.
Well, and I will say that it doesn't just have to be spring, but it is spring. So, hey, why not start to do a bit of spring cleaning? And thank you for your tips and tricks. Very good takeaways. And for more takeaways, subscribe to the channel. We want to get 100 subscribers by end of the month. So let's do it. Subscribe to the channel. Janna,
turn on the bell thing, the whammer jammer thingy too.
Yeah, everything. The notifications, because you too can join us live. We are here every Sunday at 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern. See that time thing? It's
Good
not
for good. I'm
football.
glad that was you
Yeah.
saying that. I would have turned it all around.
I
and
had to
got
write it
myself in
down
trouble.
because you said, you know, and I said, hey, I do that too sometimes. All right. Well, Janna, it was great to talk to you. Amazing
you
topic.
too.
And have a great week. And we'll talk in a week.
Thank you so much. And I'll see you next week. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.